celebration. Sorry. You seniors, so much to celebrate. You've just completed 4 of the most difficult years so far of your lives. You've finally grown up. You're adults, at least provisionally. Each of you have stepped out for a new adventure, a new path in your journey. You made it through high school. So celebrate your accomplishments, but first and foremost, celebrate yourself, because there is no one else like each one of you. You're individuals, diverse in thought, action, feeling, and spirit. There's no one else who has encountered situations, even shared experiences, like each person here. You've been free to make choices about relationships, interactions, philosophies, through your heart, mind, and spirit. Some choices you may regret, some you rejoice over, some are just mundane, but each one is distinctly your own. Each one of you is unique. And each one of you is uniquely created by God. He lovingly and intentionally created every one of you. You were created from the heart of God and given life. You are a declaration of God's love. Have you ever marveled at the biology and the psyche of just being? God pouring his heart into your formation and leaving a part of himself within you, shaping you tenderly with love, intent, and creativity. And it is his creativity that lingers in you, and that creativity is the essence of who you are. Like the psalmist, be in awe of God's design. He declared, you created me, formed me as I was in my mother's womb. Your handiwork is incredible and overwhelming. I am awesome. Each one of you is awesome. You are phenomenal. Don't be afraid to embrace all of who you are. Embrace your distinctiveness. Live in the integrity of who you are, the integrity of your creativity. I believe that creativity is the living expression of God's heart and love. In creating each one of you, he has imbued you with his creativity. You are all the children of the consummate creator, the all-creative. And as such, how can you not be creative? You can't help it. Some of you might be thinking, creative? Not so much. But you are. Usually the first thing that comes to mind with regard to creativity are the artists, the writers, the performers, the musicians. But creativity is so much more than that. It's a part of each one of you. The aesthetics and attitude of creativity belongs to the engineers, the mathematicians, the scientists. It's in the everyday. It's in your work, your relationships, your playtime. It's a pouring out of the heart. It's living. It's being you. Playwright Edward Albee, best known for Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf and A Delicate Balance, is not really known for authoring warm, fuzzy, sunny plays. In fact, most of them are a little disturbing. But he did say that creativity itself is an act of optimism. It's not just optimism, though. Wrapped in your creative self is faith, confidence, hope, trust, expectation, attitude, outlook, passion, desire, dreams, integrity. It's all of those things that are important to each person and allows for a healthy spirit, which in turn opens up the potential for a healthy body and mind. The writer of Proverbs tells us that when we put off, when we avoid that which inspires, that which sparks passion, it makes the heart sick, and an aching heart suffocates the soul. Creative living is an active, assertive way of living. It's full of brilliant colors and subtle shadings. Real creativity is tinted by reality and rooted in God. And as unique creations, creativity is being true to who you are. It's a sincerity of character. Living the status quo is easy. It's often the only reality people have. So how can you experience the colors of life? Creativity and reality can coexist. As I said, creativity is something you all have, even if you're not sure you do. It is deep in your core, and sometimes it's just shouting to be free. And just so you know, when I talk about creativity, I'm not talking about being frivolous or loony or creepy. I'm talking about having the integrity to live who you are and step outside of the box. There are often times when creativity is frowned upon. Living in a box is so much easier and so much safer. You don't make waves and everyone's comfortable. But there are no windows in a box, and the walls are high. If you have fear of heights, you're never going to get out. You might be able to peer over the top if it's not sealed. For others, the boxes close in on all sides, shrinking by the day. And if they're fortunate, those seams will burst. You need to give yourselves permission to live creatively and honestly. Edward de Bono, who coined the term lateral thinking, which is a way to see beyond the given, stated that creativity involves breaking out of established patterns in order to look at things in a different way. It's pretty simple. It's a really good definition. So once again, creativity involves breaking out of established patterns in order to look at things in a different way. Playwright Neil Simon wrote, "Don't listen to those who say it's not done that way. Don't listen to those who say you're taking too big a chance. If no one ever took risks, Michelangelo would have painted the Sistine floor, and it would have surely been rubbed out today." He goes on to say, "I firmly believe that if you follow a path that interests you, not with the exclusion of love, sensitivity, or cooperation of others, but with the strength and the conviction that you can move others by your own efforts, and do not make success or failure the criteria by which you live, the chances are you'll be a person worthy of your own respect." There's many examples of people seeing things in a different way, being shut down, but knowing that their vision is important, they remain true to their creative selves. One of the 30-plus publishers who rejected Dr. Seuss's first book, And to Think That I Saw on Mulberry Street, said that the story was too different from other juveniles on the market to warrant selling. Dr. Seuss kept trying. As he once said, "Be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind." When Sigmund Freud first presented his ideas to the scientific community of Europe, he was booed from the podium. Walt Disney was told, when he was fired by a newspaper editor, that he lacked imagination and had no good ideas. When he proposed building Disneyland, it was rejected at first out of fear that it would only attract a bad element. Thomas Edison's teacher said he was too stupid to learn anything. He was fired from his first 2 jobs for being non-productive. Yet he was to give us the phonograph, light bulb, X-ray, the film camera, and many other creations. He was an original thinker. In 1954, Jimmy Denny, manager of the Grand Ole Opry, fired Elvis Presley after one performance. He told Elvis, "You ain't going nowhere, son. You ought to go back to driving a truck." Another thought about overcoming the constraints of others comes from the Spanish poet Juan Ramon Jimenez. If they give you ruled paper, write the other way. Dare to imagine, to creatively live. Creativity dares to exist in a world that tries to stifle it. Creative living offers originality, vision, finesse. It dares to tell you that there are rich, vibrant colors to be seen and experienced, and offers each of you, every one of you, the opportunity to spurn any fear you have of your truest self. It's not always easy living outside of the expectations of others, but it is important to offer yourself you. As Polonius in Shakespeare's Hamlet proclaims, "To thine own self be true." That is integrity. As you leave the insulation of high school, take risks. You're going to make mistakes, but you'll also learn from them, just as you have in the last few years. You're created by God, informed by your relationships, environment, and experiences, positive and negative. Use that. Ask questions. Don't be afraid to question things. Questioning things is not about doubt. It's about critical thinking, understanding, and growth. There is no way for anyone to have all the answers, and everyone will have a different, sometimes subtle, perspective of the pieces of life. Wrestling with that is good. Listening to others' thoughts, sharing ideas is good. Break a few rules. Some of them don't make sense anyway. And this is true especially if you're living creatively with vision. Have fun, try new things, explore and discover what's around you and what's inside you. And laugh. Danish philosopher, theologian, and psychologist Søren Kierkegaard said, "Life is not a problem to be solved, but a reality to be experienced." Howard Thurman, author, philosopher, theologian, educator, and civil rights activist, there is a man who followed his passions, wrote, "Don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive and go to it." Because what the world needs is more people who have come alive. As you live your integrity, your creativity, you will touch those around you. You will give them permission to risk. A creative life is an odyssey, always learning, discovering, growing, and it's never ending. It's you being you in an honest, sensitive, and sincere way. So celebrate, embrace your diversity, and live creatively.